All right, Rich Casanova live from the Global Podcast Studios, Atlanta. We're back at it again. The man of the hour. I don't know if we need extra security in the building for this because this guy's pretty famous by now, right? I'm talking about the one and only Dewayne Hart. He's the he hosts a number of episodes of the podcast, the Chief of Cybersecurity podcast. He's written the book, Cybersecurity Mindset. He's also a sought-after speaker and consultant. And we're going to talk a little bit about today some additional writing that he's added to his mix into his portfolio. Before we do that, again, you can check out everything you need to know about cybersecurity and reach out to Dewayne himself right at DewayneHart.com. There you'll find links to the podcast, to the YouTube, his consulting business, so forth and so on. Pretty soon, if you keep adding more to your portfolio, introducing you, we won't have time for the show. Right?
Well, no, you know what? If you keep adding more to my portfolio, maybe I would be on CNN, right? Yeah. Well, welcome to the Chief of Cybersecurity
Network. Yeah, it's not just a show. We're gonna have your own network on Hulu or somewhere. Yeah, one of these streaming platforms. All right, talking about streaming. So, you've taken it to another level. I mean, this has been around for a while, but we haven't really talked about a whole lot on the show. So we know you're a writer of the book, which is amazing. We referenced in the last, we did a really cool series, a 3-part series. And throughout that series, we referenced a number of the chapters throughout the book and the relevance to the topic that was at hand. But speaking of writing, before we jump into today's topic about your recent articles, let's talk about your writer's experience. Any advice you have to like a up and coming or somebody's, because I think most people, individuals, especially business people, speakers, I've always had in their back pocket the idea of writing a book. In about a minute or less, what can you share with the writer's mindset, the writer's hat?
Commitment. Okay. I'm going to share it with you because you don't want to start something and don't finish it. Yeah. And try to remember that the book represents you because it's your material. It is your information. Whether you write 30,000, 40,000, or 50,000 words, that's your information.
Becomes your calling card.
That's
and
right.
Your identity.
And also,
speaking of words, how many words were in your book?
Probably about 60,000.
Wow.
So, before I started to write, I actually did the research and tried to figure out a good-sized book. How many pages really make up a good-sized book? Right. Now, the Cybersecurity Mindset has like 280 pages.
Right.
But also, too, there are some diagrams in the book as well, too.
Right.
But I wanted my book to be comprehensive, and I wanted to have enough information so that if someone reads, they can apply it in their real world lives. But at the same time, just being an author changes your life around. It changes the perspective of how people foresee you.
Right.
And now you are an industry expert.
Right.
And people come and ask you questions and want to absorb your brain cell and to see what information that you can provide. About 2 months ago, I went to lunch with an individual. And when I was sitting down, he said, I want you to sign the book, but he said, I have some questions to ask you. And I thought he was going to ask me some questions about the book, but he wanted to gain some information on how to take the cybersecurity mindset and to apply it to his job.
Okay.
And I thought that was very interesting. And we had a great conversation, especially about cybersecurity. But I would tell you, if you want to be a writer, you stay committed to the process, but at the same time, write the way you feel, and let it be your mindset when you write the book.
And you somewhat answered the question, but let's just one follow-up question before we pivot to today's topic. But what was your biggest challenge and your biggest reward in writing the book?
The biggest challenge was to decide on what is it that I really want to write about.
Yeah.
Because I could have went out here and actually wrote a book on the hacker's mindset. I could have actually went out here and wrote a book on how to go make $1 million in the cybersecurity industry.
Right.
But But I wanted to write my book in a way that it could be used by all genre of people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wanted to have a common sense approach to cybersecurity, but more so importantly, I wanted people to have that progressive thinking.
Right.
So what I decided to do was to shape the book as if I'm building someone for cybersecurity, but also too, if you're involved with cybersecurity, this is the way you build your programs. And I thought that was really good. Now it it kind of was a challenge because I kept writing down all these different topics.
Editing and rewriting.
And topics. Now, the reward out of the book is that it allows you to do research and you understand more of cybersecurity because you have to research.
Right.
And secondly, too, is that now you are being positioned to help others out and to answer questions.
Right.
No one's going to dispute the fact that you did not write a book.
Right.
People want to become a part of your brain cell now. And so the reward is that you have people that are willing to listen to you now.
Right.
And also, too, from a perspective, it actually helps you out with marketing if you have a company, if you really want to bolster your career.
Big time.
And if you want to get known for good reasons.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you added that asterisk for good reasons. Yeah, because you can easily get known for other stuff. Yeah,
Right.
But I mean, I don't know if you heard this before, but the same combination of the first number of letters in the word authority also appear in author, right?
Yes.
So it gives you that authority, gives you that platform. It opens doors. Right. And speaking of opening doors, that's our topic today. So this has opened some doors to opportunity with Forbes. That's a pretty substantial name to be dropping around, right?
Yeah.
So now you become a contributing writer on the Forbes platform. Tell us a bit about that experience, how that door opened, and again, your challenge, opportunities, your insight on that, and then we'll start talking about the specific topics of some recent articles.
Well, I was one day watching on LinkedIn, and I've seen a couple other people stating that they was writer for Forbes.
Right.
And so I kind of went to Forbes webpage and I did the research.
Right. As you usually do.
Right. And at first I was reading through it, and, there was some language about, they want industry people that are really involved with cybersecurity.
Yeah.
So I gave a thought. I said, well, I have a book.
Right.
So maybe that'll carry some weight. Then I said before, I have a podcast.
Yeah.
And also, too, I am a business owner.
Right.
So I said, okay, so let me put these three together. So I submitted the application.
Right.
And it's a simple application.
Yeah.
And once you get vetted,
yeah,
that's when Forbes will come back and say, hey, now you're part of Forbes network. But
Nice.
then the beauty of it is that you get a chance to write articles and you get a chance to engage into different questionnaires that they have for the industry based on like different topics.
Right.
So you get to engage into those, and once you answer those, then those go public as well too, and also your articles. Now, I asked some of the representatives from Forbes. I said that I would like to do an article every week. They said that would be great. They said, but based on the number of articles we get, they said it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to actually edit an article and to get the approval for it. So like when I write an article,
right,
like if I give them an article on December the 1st, January the 1st is when that article is going to be posted.
Right.
And it's almost certain.
Yeah. So their production time is, you're kind of on their timetable. But that's very compelling, and just another layer to your industry expertise and your knowledge base. So let's talk about these. So we have 5 articles on today's docket. So let's take. I'll let you choose as far as which one you want to do a deeper dive into and which one you kind of do a teaser on. First on the docket, we've talked about AI in the previous episode. So which one of the 5 do you want to kick things off with?
Okay, I am going to make this easy.
Okay.
I am just going to talk about AI first because
Okay.
there's 3 articles that I wrote on AI. And
which is artificial intelligence, by the way, for the people that may have been asleep the last year or two.
so my first article was called Uncovering How AI's Dual Relationship with Cybersecurity Operates. That one, this article was just a brief discussion about AI and cybersecurity and tried to break readers into understanding that there's a mutual benefit and there's a mutual relationship that exists between AI and cybersecurity. One is that AI platforms need cybersecurity so that it can protect data, but also, two, cybersecurity needs AI so that it can rapidly accelerate the data analysis process. Because with all the different threat feeds that you get and all the different type of hacker motives and all the vulnerabilities and other type of challenges that cybersecurity face, humans cannot make a wise decision when you have like about 1 million data feeds.
Right.
Okay. Impossible. So then I stated, okay, I still want to be involved with AI. So I moved into how AI regulation drives innovation and protects against cyber threats. The President of the United States signed an executive order about 2 weeks ago, which was supposed to regulate AI.
Right.
And so I had wrote about this because I believe that there had needed to be some regulation in place, because if you don't have regulation in place, so that means that AI platforms are going to be designed in the wild.
Right.
And so when you design them in the wild, now what happens is cybersecurity has to catch up. So why don't we regulate AI, but at the same time encourage people to produce AI platforms with safety? So
I think the technical term you're looking for is you don't want AI running amok.
Yeah, that's right. You're exactly right about that.
Because it's a Pandora's box situation, right? Once it's been opened, who's going to, step up? You need leadership, and you talked about leadership in previous episodes, right? In cybersecurity terms, but yeah, we need somebody to kind of, keep things in check.
Yes. So speaking of keeping things in check, this next article was talking about unveiling AI's secret impact on human labor and intelligence. And I found out that a lot of people enjoyed this article because there's a discussion about AI is here to take over jobs.
Yeah.
And people are going to be unemployed.
Right. That's a knee-jerk reaction to it, right? Yeah.
Right. So in this article, I pretty much broke it down on AI and the relationship to human labor, but I also wanted the readers to understand that this is a transition.
Right.
Because, if we think back maybe about 30 years ago when we had the computer age.
Right.
All right. Many of the people that were not using computers were kind of hesitant because they had to use computers now, so they thought they was going to be out of a job.
Right.
But eventually, over time, everyone became computer savvy.
Yep.
But now what happens is that AI comes about, and AI starts to supplement some of the work that we do.
Right.
And humans are saying, I'm going to be out of job. No. AI is going to open up new labor categories. It's going to open up now, because who's going to operate those platforms? And also, too, AI has a dependence on human intelligence.
Right.
So that means that we as people are going to be used to build platforms. Now there's a new level of jobs that are now developing, because I saw this on Indeed a couple of days ago.
Okay.
It stated that an AI engineer.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. An AI engineer. Now we're seeing the surface of these new jobs that are coming up. Now, I will admit, some of the jobs such as Walmart, McDonald's, and so forth are probably going to be replaced with these platforms.
Right.
Okay. But
it goes back to your premise of your book and all your it circles back to the mindset, right? So you talked about cybersecurity mindset. This is kind of AI mindset, right? So people can look at it as a threat or an opportunity?
Well,
and I think you take the perspective of opportunity that this presents.
yes.
Right.
And you know what? One of my articles here, and I made it notice that certain people believe that AI is here to hunt us and it's a harm to
Right.
humanity. And see, that's because there's a disconnection.
Right.
There's a disconnection in understanding what artificial intelligence is and how it operates.
Right.
And I don't blame citizens because there's a lot of information that is so difficult to read through.
Right.
But if you stay along with me and you follow me through like my path into cybersecurity mindset and my podcasts and YouTube channels, you're going to be savvy.
Right.
You're going to learn exactly what AI is all about. Now,
I mean, it's like you talked about, there was an era of you had to either jump on the computer age train or not and be left behind, right?
Yeah.
So right now, I don't know if it's something that would translate, but what was to the computer age now is, I would call, the AI age.
that's right.
We're in the AI age right now, right?
Yes, definitely. Because under this article, I'm building AI seeking impact on human labor and intelligence. Here goes a sentence from the article. Many are now wondering whether AI threatens humanity and whether wage requirements and automated labor will affect their paychecks.
Okay.
Okay. See, that's
And you say to that,
and I say to that, you're going to have a new position.
right,
All right. Because the AI evolution
right,
is starting to happen now.
right,
So that means your skill sets need to change. So that means that some of us are going to become engineers for AI because we have to develop the platforms. Then those platforms will need humans so that they can understand how humans operate. Now, the negative side of that is that there are some platforms that are developed now, and these platforms do not take into consideration other data sets, such as gender, race, looking at a geographical area,
right,
because these platforms are new now.
yeah,
Because the recruiting system are starting to use the AI platforms, but see what happens is that these platforms do not have a complete data set.
right,
Because these platforms are only going to follow what recruiters do.
yeah,
Right? So we still have to track progress,
right,
and try to make these platforms effective. So after I got through AI and I said, I need to flip the script a little bit,
right.
Because I was on that bandwagon for 3 articles, and I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun.
Right.
Then I said, okay, I want to talk about discover how to transform cyber risk into rewards. I thought that was very special because usually in any environment, people feel, like they may take cybersecurity risk and hold them as hostage because they feel like they can't say anything about it, because if they speak up, then guess what? You're going to be at the unemployment line. Right. So there needs to be a communication path between cyber leaders and their staff to let their staff know that when you find risk, that is the opportunity for success. Now, we don't sit here and say that we want risks to happen, but when those risks do occur, we have to take advantage of the opportunities and find ways to mature cybersecurity, because that's our reward. Because if you were in an enterprise and if you never ever had any risk and any issues in your enterprise, you would not know how to respond when you really have a critical issue.
Right.
So this article focus on one of the chapters out of the cybersecurity mindset as well too, and that chapter is talking about risk discovery and opportunity, which is chapter 12. Right? Okay. How do you really take risk and you transfer that into opportunities? Because you're going to see your weaknesses and you're going to see your pain points, and you're going to see areas that you need to mature and grow. That is part of chapter 2, which is your growth mindset. See, now, as I said before, the entire cybersecurity mindset is connected together.
Yeah.
Those are all your connectors, and trying to put it together. Then after this area, I said, okay, let me switch to something else that I think will work for the community.
Okay.
Master the art of building a top-tier cybersecurity team.
Because we've been talking about technology, artificial intelligence, systems, but at the end of the day, it goes back to that human intelligence, and also like hiring the right people, putting them in the right place, right? But also, we talked about in the previous episode about continuing education and staying on top of the game, right?
Well, yes, and I make note during this article that cybersecurity fundamentals have to be in place.
Okay.
Because that's the basis of something like the CIA triad, because everyone went through training and learned about the CIA triad, and that is part of the cybersecurity fundamentals.
Like your foundation.
Right.
Right.
And it's your foundation.
Yeah.
But for some reason, people seem to lapse past that.
Right.
Right. And think that they still can make cybersecurity operate. But no, you cannot get past the fundamentals. But at the same time, I also make a discussion that when we talk about building these teams, we need to look at having a partnership, especially for like different teams, because normally in this IT industry, when it's a problem, we will hear terms such as it's the cybersecurity people problem.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, you asked them to do it. But we need to have that approach where it's a team-based approach, but at the same time, the lines of responsibility are known. Now, the other part is that having a human resource department have more so involvement with the cybersecurity team, because that's the first line of getting your talent.
Yep, exactly, yeah.
All right, because everyone out there who's listening to me now know that a recruiter has called them before,
right,
and on the phone, and to themselves, they're saying, these are not relatable to the job. What kind of questions is he asking me this for? I mean, I just answered these through like email.
Right.
And see, what happens is that recruiters are just given a job ad and say, okay, well, you go for this.
Yeah.
But I think that HR and the cybersecurity teams should have a better relationship.
Right.
And also, if you own a company, then I think it helps out as well, too, because when you start to take your cybersecurity team, and once you're building that team and looking at their performance and other things that they're doing, where you also have to feed that back into your talent management system so that critical skill sets that are missing can actually be replaced. All right. See, that's kind of one of the things that I believe, because I'm looking at this from a holistic standpoint. So just having HR, and how do you build that top tier cybersecurity team? Because education is very important, but then we have to teach people how to operate cybersecurity as well.
Yeah, kind of like we talked about in the last episode. You have this theory of what a good team would look like, but you have to actually implement that and take action. And I think one of the operative words here is, well, you chose the term, the art, right? So it's an art of building that team. It's not just like artificial intelligence can't build this for you, right? So you have to put the right people, and you need that ideally that perfect blend of different people's perspective and area of expertise, right? So that you have this more broad stroke approach to what that team would look like and how they would interact, right? If you have just a one mindset approach and everybody's only in a linear lane, you're not going to be prepared for, security gaps or, what may happen in terms of your cybersecurity.
Chief of Cybersecurity Podcast, Rich Casanova.
There it is.
Hey, but you know what? Also, let's just say, for instance, if I were to title this as building a top tier cybersecurity team, if I only use that topic, that means people would be thrown into a square box.
Right.
Right now, when I say master the art
Yeah.
of building a top-tier cybersecurity team, I actually take the word art, as you said before, it's being innovative, creative,
Right.
because art is about your environment.
Yeah.
And shaping it the way that you want to build that team to
it's
be
intentional,
successful.
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
The art is the key word.
Yeah,
I agree. As well, too. So what I wanted to do was to take that article and to focus on the workforce, because part of everything that I talk about, and also including the book, is about cybersecurity best practices, business development, and also workforce modernization.
Okay, so that's a lot of content, but in a very brief conversation, which I think is genius, because you can listen to this and this will kind of whet your appetite to say, hey, let me check out these Forbes articles in depth. So you just kind of gave a snapshot of just 5 articles that you've written so far that we covered today. And so, closing thoughts, or, if you to summarize these articles, how would you go about doing that?
I would say that these are your connectors.
Right.
These are, one is to show you how to build cyber protection, but also two, to looking at different changes in the environment when it comes to modernization and how systems are constantly changing, but also two, what type of risk that comes along with those different systems, and what does it take to make those systems operate. But at the same time, what type of workforce do you need to have in place?
Right.
Because you need people to actually get the job done. Even though artificial intelligence is growing and developing and now becoming the talk of the town,
right,
we still need people.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I concur, and hopefully that'll, will be around longer than the artificial intelligence, or in tandem with them. But it's kind of like we talked about in the previous episode of this mindset of opportunity versus, the lack of opportunity, or, missing out. What do they call it? FOMO now, the fear of missing out, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's kind of like, and staying ahead, like we talked about last episode about modernization, staying ahead of the curve, right? And so if you had this mindset of the horse and buggy wasn't broken, we'd still be living in the horse and buggy age. But the Wright brothers came along, right? And they said, we can take it to another level, right?
But my buggy would be different from yours.
Yeah, that's no doubt. Whatever. Yes, yours would be high tech, whatever. Yeah. So, Dewayne, pleasure having you back in the studio once again. This was a great synopsis of these some of the articles you've written for Forbes. And again, you can check out the Forbes articles, links there, as well as the podcast, as well as his consulting opportunities, speaking engagements, his podcast, his book. I don't know, maybe you're coming out. Well, you're going to come out with a line of like bottled water or something, whatever. Yeah, like your own cybersecurity water.
Oh no, I think that for now I'm going to stay within this space here.
The content,
right?
Yeah.
Because I think that the audience is gaining a massive amount of information. To help them out with their businesses and their jobs. And also to college students as well, because I had someone that called me once and they said that they read the cybersecurity mindset so that when they talk to their business partners, they can have a great pitch. And I asked them on the phone, I said, okay, I am a business partner.
Right.
What is your best pitch
that
you're going to throw at me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like he looked at me and said that, well, the way my company operates is that we know that you can find risk, but that there's some benefits of having risk.
Yeah.
Sir. And I'm going to explain that to you.
Right.
And I go like, you went to a meeting and said that? He goes, yeah. Okay. And he said, wow. They said they never heard it before.
Yeah.
So if it works, it works.
Yeah. 100%. All right. So again, you can check out all that content on DewayneHart.com. Rich Casanova here, signing off. And Dewayne, your closing thoughts or call to action. What would you want your listeners to walk away with today, and what kind of action?
Listeners, go out there and check my articles out on Forbes. Read through the articles, share those articles in your network, share those with college students and some of your professors. If you're on LinkedIn there, I definitely want you to take those articles and share them to as many people as possible so that we can keep the brand moving, because as long as we become smarter in this space of cybersecurity, so that means we can be hackers to the finish line. Until next time, you take care.